Welcome back to class. Let's go ahead and bow in. Cheer up. Continue. I'm going to start our warm-up with jogging in place. When you're doing this, I want you to move your hands just a little bit because we're going to start bringing these up to be punches. But as you're jogging, you'll notice your hips are moving, your arms move naturally. This is how our punches are going to go too when we're doing this. So we're moving our hands, start raising them up slowly. They're still moving forward, and bring them all the way out. It should be flowing with your hips. If not, if you feel unnatural, start over. Start again, start jogging, your hands are down, moving just like you normally would, and then slowly bring them up to your face and punching with it. You want to try to get in step so that your hips are moving as your arms are moving. We're trying to get all of our body warmed up right now. Make sure you bring it back to your face. Don't have it up to your head. Boom, all the way back. Pick up the pace just a little bit. Good. Now we're going to go to high knees. So hands on your hips. Bring your knees up about your belt level. You don't have to go too much above that where you're going to be falling backwards and losing your balance. Make sure you breathe. If this is a little bit too fast for you, you can slow it down. But try to get those knees up. Good, now we're going to go to butt kickers. So we're trying to warm up our hamstrings with this. We're going to bring them back. If you want, you can stick your hands back here. Kick your hands. Speed it up just a little bit. When you're doing this, try to just go on the ball of your feet. Don't plant your whole foot down in between each one. It's going to slow you down. Good. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to do torso twists. Hands off to the side. Keep your feet planted with this. You want to get a nice twist and stretch in your back and core. Make sure to breathe. Relax your arms. Twist your hips. Just let those arms swing. Good. Now we're going to do side to sides. So we're going to come this way and then this way. Try to go a little bit farther each time. Try not to put your hand on your hip or anything down here. It's going to stop you from going farther. So you can just put it right in front of you. Good, now we're going to do sock stretch, right here. We're going to do this one with a bounce. So I don't want you holding this one, I want you bouncing it. If you're wearing a belt, see if you can try to touch your belt down to the floor. If you can't, don't worry about it. Just have a little bounce to it. Might be a goal of yours one day. Switch. Again, our hip is just moving straight up and down. Good. I want you to sit on one of your feet and reach. We're trying to get a nice hamstring stretch in. If you can't quite reach your toes, use your fingers and walk yourself forward as much as you can. Good. Go ahead and switch. If you feel it's really, really tight, you can kind of hit on it a little bit, try to make it relax. If you're really sore after some of these classes, I would suggest you try maybe foam rolling it out wherever it's sore. So you put the foam roller on it, lay on it, and let it kind of dig in. It'll feel a little bit of pain, but it should help get some of the lactic acid out of your muscles. Good. Stand up. You can use the wall if you need to. And stretch your quads. Again, if you don't really feel much by just standing here, push your hips forward. Switch sides. Good. Let's go ahead and get into some of the technique portion. The first thing we're going to do is we're just going to get to do some of our front snap kicks. So again, remember with our front snap kicks, our knee comes up to the chamber position first. We kick it out, we re-chamber it, and we're going to bring it right back down behind us. We're going to do this 10 times on each side. I'm going to start with my right. You can start with either side because we are going to be switching. On my count. And out. Do. Set. Make sure you keep your hands up. Net. Yes. Yes. Is good. Get over. Up. Good. Good. Go and switch sides. Same thing. Hands stay up the whole time. And out. Do. Set. Net. Yes. Yes. Is good. Get over. Up. Good. Good. Now we're going to do some pivot practicing. So with this, you're going to start off in your sparring stance and pivot 1 all the way, set it down in front, pivot 2 all the way. We're going to set it down and we're going to face the other direction. And again, same thing, pivot, pivot, set it down. So I want you doing this along with me. I'm going to start with my right leg. You can start with either one. We are alternating each time, but I want you to stay on the count with me. And yeah, set it down. 3. Set it down. I want you to pause a little bit in between each count. Set. Net. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Feel good? Get over. Up. Good. Remember, as we're pivoting, we're only pivoting on the ball of our foot. I want you to make sure that you're not pivoting on your heel. Only pivot on the ball of your foot. Keep going. Start again. Hana. Good. I want that pause in between. Set. Net. That's it. That's it. Is good. Get up. Good. Good. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take that pause out. So we're going to do 2, and we'll pause at the end of the second one. So we're going to go 1, 2, and then we'll pause as we change directions. But I want a nice flow now. So as you do that first pivot, go ahead and set it right back down. 1, 2. Again, we're still trying to pivot. We want to pivot over 90 degrees. So from here, I want to pivot either here, where the point 90 degrees, or 180 degrees. I don't want you just pivoting slightly or anything less than 90 degrees. On my count, we're going to do 2 fluid, and we're going to pause as we change directions. And I'm going to count, both of them are going to be on 1 count now. And out. Do you. Set. Net. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. My hands are still staying up. I'm not throwing them back behind me. There we go. Get up. Hook. Good. Okay. Remember, as we're doing our pivot, we want to keep our head, hip, and knee all in one line. I don't want this L shape here at our hip. We pivot, 1 line, no bend. 1 more time, 1 more set of 10, and out. 3. Set. Net. That's it. Make sure we're pointing our toes back. Yes. Let's go. Get up. Up. Good. Good. Next, we're going to move on to what is our second solo drill. So it's going to be a low block, high block, high block. Hands come in front, front snap kick, set it back down to our squared position, front snap kick, set it back down. When we're doing this, we're practicing for a pumse. So we're setting up, whether it's our high block or our low block, we're setting up with both hands. I don't want to see starting here, low block with one hand. We can do that in a self-defense scenario when time is of the essence, but right now we're practicing our power and our timing. So our hands end at the same time. If you have a belt, if you don't have a belt, go ahead and put your hand right at your hip bone. If you do have a belt, your hand is going to come right back to the belt each time. Here to the hip bone, here, right here to the hip bone as we do our block. They end at the exact same time. So my hand that's blocking ends at the same time, then my other one touches my hip bone. Just like this, each time. So when we're doing our pumse, it's the exact same way. Later on, we're going to add footwork to it, and our foot and hand will end at the same time. But for now, we're just, both of our hands end at the same time. We're staying loose, and then we have this twisting power right at the very end. So loose, 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 tight. And I want to make sure you start off each position in the correct preparatory position, and then end in the good ending position. So let's get started. We're going to do this a few times. We're going to do it slow at first, and then we're going to pick up the pace. I'm going to count. One count is going to be the entire drill. So, hana, low block, high block, high block, front kick, and back to junbei. 2. Good. So what I want you to realize is it doesn't matter which side you start with right now. I'm not going to tell you to start with your right or your left, because in this drill, we are going to be doing it alternating sides. So if you start with the left, it goes left, right, left, right, left, right. If you start with the right, then it's going to go right, left, right, left, right, left. I just want you to keep that in mind. It is alternating, but I don't mind whichever side you start with because we are doing both sides equally. That's it. Yes, sir. Let's go. Up. Good. Good. So if you notice, we started to pick up this pace a little bit, but I want a nice flow in between each one. So 1, 2, not 1, what's next, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They go one after the other, but in between each one, you still see that nice, crisp finishing technique before the next one starts. It's not going to be a really loose movement that doesn't have good power at the end of each technique. We want to still have nice strength at the end of each one. So, next what we're going to do is we're going to have a little bit more speed with this, but again, I still want that exact same thing. So we're going to do 5 as fast as we can. So we're going to be ready. And so even when you're doing it fast, it still has that good power into it. Remember, we're not flexing the whole time. We're loose, and then the power comes at the very end. Do it. Set. Net. I'm still using both of my hands with this. Last one. That's it. Good job on that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do a balance drill. So with this, I got my stopwatch out. We're going to do 2 sets of 30 seconds, but we're going to do 2 different balancing drills. So what it is, the first set is going to be holding our front snap chamber. We're gonna do 30 seconds on one side, 30 seconds on the other side. The next one is going to be holding our roundhouse kick chamber, just like this. That one's gonna be a lot more difficult because you are gonna be using different muscles to hold that leg up really high compared to just here, which is gonna be a little bit easier. If you fall, just try to put this foot down and come right back up. Don't allow yourself to fall all the way over. Just put your foot back down and come right back up. The goal is to try to keep our balance. If you have to hop around a little bit, I don't mind that either. You might see me doing that. Don't worry about it. The goal is, though, to keep that leg up. So, starting off in our front snap chamber, 30 seconds, begin. Just like this. If you feel that this is a little bit too easier, you could start doing a little bit of conditioning. That's up to you. Or you could practice your pivots as we're doing this. Either way. So if you want to make it harder, you can do that. If you're already struggling with just holding this, then just worry about this. We're just holding our leg up and trying to keep our balance. We got a few more seconds. Good, and switch. Same thing. Holding that leg up. Again, if this is too easy for you, practice some pivots. You can circle all the way around. It is pretty difficult to just be able to pivot on here without using your arms, your hips, and just on your foot by raising it up and turning your foot. So that's one way that you can make this a little bit harder for yourself. You can have this up and you can kick out as well. However you want to make it. If it's too difficult, then just worry about the balance right now. And switch. So the next one we're going to do is going to be for the roundhouse chamber. So just like this. You might find this one is a little bit more difficult. With this though, if it is too easy for you, still, you can do what I'm doing here and go from one direction to the other. Trying to keep your bottom foot still and move one way and the other. Adding a little bit more movement might throw you off. Try to make it smooth. If that's too hard, just hold it. Just like this. Again though, head, hip, knee are all in one line. You don't have to hold it up super high. If you can't yet, hold it down lower. That's fine too. Let's go ahead and switch. Right here, and begin. Head, hip, knee, all in one line. Work on your breathing. Don't hold your breath when you're doing this. Try to focus on the little muscles that are in your toes. Your toes are where you're really going to get most of your balance from. You might notice you're going to be using your pinky toe to push off of to come back up, or your big toe, if you're leaning too far forward, to come back. So I want you to really focus on which muscles make you balance. And time. So that's just a few more things that you can do to help yourself get better at balancing. I used to, when I had to wait in line, I would just kind of hold one leg up, just like this. I did it at the bank once. I just kind of put my back leg here, and I practiced some balance, just like this, for a little while. It might seem a little bit weird, but you're helping yourself out. If you have that time, might as well use it to be training. Now we're going to move on to our conditioning. So our conditioning, we're going to end up doing 40 squats total, but we're going to be doing kicks in between. The first 20 are going to be a squat, come down, front kick, bring it back, and then the other side. One kick is going to be one count. So we're going to do that 20 times with our front kicks, and then we're going to switch to our half roundhouse kick. So it's going to come down and pivot. This one will be a little bit more difficult because your toes start off facing forward, and then we pivot and come back. So on my count, let's get started with our front kicks. Down, hana. Down, doyu. Set. Net. Dasu. Yasu. Ilgam. Yero. Aho. Yol. Yohana. Yodol. You'll set. Keep your hands up. You'll nut. You'll dasa. You'll yasa. You'll ilgam. You'll yero. Smooth. Good. Now the next one we're doing is the half roundhouse. Remember, when we're doing this, head, hip, knee, all in one straight line. I keep emphasizing that because it's very important. Again, also make sure that you're pivoting on the ball of the foot. You ready? Hands up and down. Net. Dori. Set. Net. That's. Yes. Moving up. Get up. Aho. Yod. Johanna. Yodol. Yodset. Yodnet. Yodasa. Yasa. Yodilagum. Smooth. And good job on that. All right, now let's start cooling down and stretching. So, just like we did before, grab here, and we're gonna stretch our quads. With this one, I want you to try to pull back a little bit. So as you notice, when I push back, I'm using my knee to push back, and then from here, I can pull with my arm to get more of a stretch in here. So notice my heel isn't touching all the way here because it does make it a little bit more difficult. It elongates your quads as you're doing this. And go ahead and switch. Same thing. I want you to push your knee back and then pull in. Good. Now what I want you to do, I want you to put your toes together, and we're going to reach, and we're going to kind of do a bounce and then a touch. So we're going to come bounce and then a touch. Come back up, bounce and a touch. Bounce, touch. I want you trying to go farther each time. Bounce, touch, bounce, and touch. Keep your knees straight. Bounce and touch. Bounce and touch. Bounce and hold. Good job. Now we're going to go ahead and sit down, just like this. We're going to start with one leg in front. We're going to grab our other leg and we're going to bring it back behind us. And I like to come up off my butt, and I want to slide my front foot forward until I feel a nice stretch. And then I want to start to sit down a little bit. I should sit down to the point where I am feeling a nice stretch right in here. If you're sitting down just like this and you don't feel any stretch, I want you to lift up, push that foot forward more until you feel a good stretch in here, and then slowly sit down on it. At this point, you should be feeling it whether you're leaning forward or not. But if you want to lean forward a little bit and try to get a little bit more stretch in there, that's no problem either. Good. Now I want you to put your hands towards the center and walk your fingers forward. Now do your finger walk. Make sure we're still breathing. Don't hold your breath. Now what we're going to do, I'm going to put our other foot in front. From here, just like we did when we were standing, we're going to reach for those toes. Make sure we keep our knees locked out. Don't bend your knees, don't cheat. You can bring your toes back towards you if you want, and you can push them forward some to help you get forward. Again, if you can't do that, you can grab onto the material of your pants and you can pull yourself forward. You can finger walk your way forward, however you have to do it. Just make sure you're pushing yourself a little bit and you're not holding your breath. Good. Now with our other leg, we're going to lift it up, grab it, set it back behind us, hands up, push that heel of the front leg forward so that when we sit down, we're feeling a nice stretch right here on the inside. Just like before, you should be feeling the stretch whether you're leaning forward or not. I'm going to go ahead and just lean forward a little bit. If you are not feeling it, then again, lift yourself up, push it forward more, and sit back down on it. Don't hold your breath. Keep breathing. Focus on the muscles that you feel tightening. Think about them and tell them to loosen up. All right. Now, I'm going to get to the center. We're going to finger walk our way forward. Should feel a nice, good stretch at this point. Good. Now go ahead, stand up, hands on your hips, and twist. Here, and I want you to lean back, push your hips forward. Try to keep your balance, and don't hold your breath. Hips forward. Hips back, arms down. Reach all the way in between your legs as far as you can. Stand up. Cherry up. Bow, knie. And good job on that class, guys.